With Broken Truth, I'm John Davidson, and today I am joined by Dr. Kimberly Biss, and we are here at the IMA 2026 conference. How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing good.
Or Dr. Biss, sorry. So, Dr. Biss, you are involved in the medical freedom movement, right? And you are based out of Florida.
Correct.
So you actually have testified to Congress?
Correct.
What was that about?
That was about my increased miscarriage rates once the COVID shots were rolled out.
And how bad was that?
So I started tracking my miscarriage rates. I went back in my electronic medical record to 2020, and my miscarriage rate rolling average month to month was 4%, which is actually a normal rate. The normal rate's about 5 to 6%. When I looked at the rates the following year, they had increased 100% from month to month. Rolling average was 8% now. So that was in 2021. The following year, they went up 100% again. The average month to month was now 15%.
Wow.
That data was collected and what was presented to Marjorie Taylor Greene and some other representatives at that time, excuse me, went up to November of 2022. But in December of that year, the miscarriage rate was 27%.
Of all pregnancies that came into your office?
In January and February of 2023, it went up to 30%. And then it started to dwindle down to back to normal. The concerning thing about that was the majority of my patients were vaccinated in 2021. And yet we were still seeing residual effects by that in 2022 and 23.
So have your patients sort of tapered off on taking the COVID vaccines?
Yes, because unlike what they were being told by their, sadly, physicians and the media, they are in a lot of mommy groups on Facebook, et cetera, to where they were hearing from their friends that they were either having issues with their periods, they were having miscarriages, or they were having babies, but they were having problems with the pregnancies. So they decided to decline.
You know, Facebook was accused of heavily censoring any information about these things. How do you feel about that? That when you said mommy groups on social media, do you think a lot of babies could have been protected from these miscarriages if their mothers had known about this, that was what was going on? Because, you know, when you can't go online to find anything, or you start a community or whatever on Facebook and it gets killed because you say something that they don't like, that's a problem. I mean, how do you feel about that, and what responsibility do you think social media has for censoring?
Well, exactly. I mean, we know now that the government was determining what was being seen on social media, but you know, we had information very early on. My friend Tiffany Parado started My Cycle Story, and that was a huge Facebook following because a lot of women started having issues with their menstrual periods when these vaccines were rolled out. And that's how we work, right? So imagine there was issues with fertility, miscarriage, pregnancy, when right off the bat, the menstrual cycle was being affected.
You know, I heard even when it was just COVID prior to the rollout of the vaccines, there were also issues with miscarriages. You think COVID actually has an effect on the uterine system with women?
Well, it's all related to spike protein, and that's still yet to be determined because people like myself who wants to do research to look into that nobody's going to fund that because that's going to go against the narrative.
But don't we have people in HHS now that might be willing to fund those kind of studies?
It depends on the week. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, what can, you know, a mother or any woman do to protect themselves? I mean, just avoid the shots? I mean, are there any treatments that you know of that kind of can protect mothers that are pregnant that might be concerned that they got the shot?
So, you know, fortunately now, you know, I would have to say the miscarriage rates probably normalized. We're not seeing as many issues with the pregnancies. Our main concern now is that what is going on in the offspring to women who were vaccinated while they were pregnant. I mean, you know, Ethical Skeptic came out with some data that's from our own government, CDC data, showing that kids born to vaccinated moms, the all-cause mortality in that age group from birth to age 4 is increased in our country.
Wow.
So that's concerning because, we were told it stays in the arm. Well, clearly it's going into the babies.
Now, you deliver babies too.
I stopped 2
Okay.
years ago, but yes.
Were you seeing lower birth weights or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw a menagerie of things. First and foremost, yes, smaller growing babies, early labor, early breaking of the water, which resulted in early deliveries, preterm deliveries, preeclampsia, which is hypertension or high blood pressure in pregnancy. Those rates were through the roof, and now there is literature that's come out showing that that was increased with the COVID vaccines, but that could lend towards preterm delivery as well. But the most concerning thing I saw was an increase in bleeding after delivery, postpartum hemorrhaging.
Oh,
If somebody could do a study, which would be impossible because all hospitals utilize their own blood bank, but if somebody could look at the amount of blood used on delivery wards starting in 2021 and tracking it forward and comparing it prior to 2021, there has to be a huge increase. I never gave so many blood transfusions.
wow. Now, how do you feel about the blood supply?
Oh, I'm sure it's contaminated just like HIV, right?
I recently and had to deal with a family member that needed donated blood, and we were not able to get directed blood donations, even though we have groups, and I've been friends with people that work with them, like at Safe Blood and other organizations like that. The Red Cross is able to screen for some antibodies, right?
Yeah, they do it all the time.
So is it possible for the Red Cross to, or whoever provides your blood, to screen for COVID antibodies and protect from spike?
So I think more importantly, they need to actually screen for spike because that's what's going to be circulating in the blood too. And we don't to date have a good, a lot of how we measure spike is in directly utilizing the antibody testing. But we need a direct assay for spike protein itself. And I hear through the woods that, this is coming down, but we still don't have that yet.
I mean, is that a hard thing to do?
I don't think so. It's just getting it funded and then utilized.
Well, what are you working on now? Anything new and exciting?
So I'm in a research group. It's a 501c3, and we have 2 pilot projects that we're trying to get funding for. It's just impossible because it's going to go against the narrative of safe and effective.
Well, Dr. Kimberly Biss, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure making friends with you, and I can't wait to hang out with you again.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
I believe in the Constitution. I believe that one case, the right case, can change the world. If you believe this too, Freedom Counsel is for you. Pursuing a major case can be overwhelming, but we provide a community of practice so that you have the resources available to support your case. My name is Warner Mendenhall, and we are Freedom Counsel. Join Freedom Counsel today. freedomcounsel.org.